Now, in this lecture we will see normal subgroup as a kernel of a group homomorphism. So we will first define the group homomorphism and then define the kernel of the group homomorphism, and we will see that the kernel of the group homomorphism is actually a normal subgroup. So let us first define the group homomorphism. So group homomorphism, let G1O1 and G2O2 be two group. A map F from G1 to G2 is called group homomorphism. Is called group homomorphism if for xy in G1 f of x01y is equal to fx o2 fy. Now note one thing, that xy are the elements of G1, so there is an operation of O1 in between them, and the image fx is in G2 and fy is in G2, so the operation in between them is O2. So if this is satisfied for xy in G1, means for all xy in G1, if this identity is satisfied, then we say that such a map F is a group homomorphism. So there are two groups G1 and G2, they may be same, they may be different. I am not going to do the detail of this here, because I will again define the group homomorphism when we will do the separate lecture on this group homomorphism. I am just defining it here to show that it has a kernel and the kernel is a normal subgroup, and we will do the example for that. So okay, so I am not going to do the detail of this here, but let me give some easy example here. We will do more examples later on. Suppose F is a map from the group G1 to the group G2, and E2 is the identity element of this group. So suppose E2 is the identity element of G2. Suppose E2 is identity element of G2. So define f of x to be E2 for all x in G1. So I have defined a map F from G1 to G2 such that f of x is equal to E2 for all x in G1, and now so it is actually a constant map, and you can easily see that it will satisfy this property. Why? Because if we take two elements xy in G1, then what will happen is that f of x O1 y, where O1 is supposed to be the operation of G1, then this will be equal to, because each element is going to identity, so it will go to E2, and E2 can be written as E2O E2, and of course f of x is also E2, and I put O2 here and f of y is here. So it is true for all the elements, so it is a homomorphism, group homomorphism. So this map defined like this is a group homomorphism. It is actually a constant map. Some people also call it trivial homomorphism, because everything is going to identity element, so it is also called trivial homomorphism. Now second example, identity map from a group G to G is always a group homomorphism. This is a group homomorphism. This is an example of a group homomorphism. Group homomorphism. Okay. There are two very easy property. There are two very common and you may say very easy to prove. Two properties which are easy to prove. So let me see it. Property number 1. So let me write first. Suppose F from G1 to G2 is a group homomorphism. Group homomorphism, and E1 comma E2 denote the identity element of G1 comma G2 respectively. Then the property number 1 is that f of E1 is equal to E2, and the property number 2 is that fx inverse is same thing as fx inverse for all x in G1. Let us see how will it happen. So let me show that f of E1 is equal to E2. Now you know that E1 O1 E1 is E1. So let me apply f on both sides. So E1 O1 E1 is equal to f of E1. Now this f of E1 is an element of G2 and G2 has identity E2. So f of E1 O2 E2 we can write it like this. And by the property of group homomorphism, it can be written as f of E1 O2 f of E1. Now these all elements are the elements of the group G2, and G2 has G2 because G2 is a group. So we can cancel, there is a cancellation law hold in it. So we can cancel these two. So f of E1 is equal to E2. So this proves that f of E1 will always be E2. Now let us see the second one. Now we have to show that this is the inverse of this. So let me compose both of them and let us see what will happen. F of x inverse O2 fx. By the definition of group homomorphism, it will become x inverse O1 x. By the definition of inverse, it will become E1, and we know f of E1 is E2, so it will become E2. So similarly, if you will take fx O2 fx inverse, then it will become f of x O1 x inverse, and it will become f of E1 is equal to E2. So because of the composition, because the composition of these two elements are identical, so this implies that this element is inverse of this, or this element is inverse of this. So we can write it as fx inverse is equal to fx inverse. So this identity hold if f is a group homomorphism. Now let me define a kernel of a group homomorphism. So what do you mean by kernel of group homomorphism? Kernel of group homomorphism. So again let f be f from G1 to G2 be a group homomorphism. Let this be a group homomorphism. Define kernel of f to be a subset of G1. So those G in G1 such that f of G is equal to E2, where E2 is the identity element of G2. So now my claim is that this kernel f is a subgroup of G. So let me claim first. We in short denote this kernel of f as KERF bracket, or sometimes without bracket also. So this, or simply kernel of f. So my claim is that this is a subgroup. So claim is that kernel f is a subgroup. This less than equal to sign is used for subgroup. This is a subgroup of G1. So one thing you can note, since this is the proof of claim, let me prove the claim. Since f of E1 is equal to E2, so this implies, so E1 belongs to kernel of f, because kernel f consists of those elements whose image is E2. So thus this kernel f is not equal to phi. This is not equal to phi. This is a non-empty subset. So for showing subgroup, first step is to show that it is a non-empty subset. Now what we will show is that, so take two elements, so take xy in kernel of f. Then we are to show that xo1 y inverse belongs to kernel of f. To show xo1 y inverse belongs to kernel of f. So to show that the kernel of f is a subgroup, we need to show that xo1 y inverse belongs to kernel of f. And to show that something belongs to kernel of f, we need to show that f of that thing should be identity of G2. So let us apply f now. F of xo1 y inverse is, by the definition of group homomorphism, equal to fx O2 f of y inverse. But we know that f of y inverse is fy inverse. This is fy inverse. So we can write it as fx O2 fy whole inverse. Now think about one thing, that x belongs to kernel of f. What does it mean that x belongs to kernel of f? X belongs to kernel of f means f of x is equal to E2, and y belongs to kernel of f means f of y is equal to E2. So this is E2, O2, E2 inverse, but E2 inverse is E2. So this is E2. So this implies xo1 y inverse belongs to kernel of f. So this proves that kernel of f, this proves that kernel of f is a subgroup of G. In fact, if you will see that, actually if you will see that the kernel of f is equal to f inverse of E2. It's the inverse image of identity element. Kernel of f is the inverse image of identity element. Now we will show that this kernel of f is actually a normal subgroup of the group G. So my claim is now that, so let me again claim that kernel of f is a normal subgroup of G1. So we have shown that kernel of f is a subgroup. Now we will show that it is a normal subgroup. So how will we show that it is a normal subgroup? So there are several definitions for showing that normal subgroup. Let me choose one which may be easier for us. So let me take a element H in kernel F and G in G1. Now let us think about G H G inverse. If I show that this element belongs to kernel of f for all H in kernel f and for all G in G1, then we have done by the definition of normal subgroup. And now why we have chosen this definition to show? Because For showing that something belongs to kernel of f, it is easy. For showing that this element belongs to kernel of f is easy for us because we can apply f on this element and we can say by the property of homomorphism that this element belongs to kernel of f. So actually I have not written the operation here, so actually this element is G01 H01 G inverse. This is the element, and now we want to show that this element belongs to kernel of f. So let us apply the definition of group homomorphism and let us apply f on this element and see what will happen. So f of X01 G01 H01 G inverse. Now note one thing, that group homomorphism definition is given for two elements. So if you divide it in two parts, again you can think of it, f of G01 H02 f of G inverse. So this thing again you can apply the group homomorphism definition, FG02 FH in one bracket and then O2 Fg inverse. Now I can remove the bracket here because there is associativity, so either you compose first this or this, that will not affect. Now H belongs to kernel of f means f of H is zero, identity. So Fg O2 E2 O2 Fg inverse. So if you compose this thing, then it will give you Fg O2 Fg inverse, and Fg O2 Fg inverse is again E2. So this implies G01 H01 G inverse belongs to kernel of f, and this is true for any H and any G. So for all G in G, 1 and H in kernel of f. Hence kernel of f is a normal subgroup of G1. Let me do one example for it. Consider example. Consider a group to be GLN F. You can make it over any field, or if you don't know what we mean by field, then you can use in place of F set of real numbers or set of complex numbers. And consider a map. The map is determinant map from GLN to F star. So star means remove 0 from that. So if you are not comfortable with field, you can use the set of real numbers, and here it is going to R star. So this is GLN R to R star means real number minus 0, and this is again a group with respect to multiplication. So R star is a group with respect to multiplication. So here simply F star is also a group with respect to multiplication, and GLN F is also a group with respect to matrix multiplication. So you can write the map like this. But what we know is that we know about the determinant map, that determinant of two matrices A into B is same thing as determinant of A into determinant of B. So determinant of B and determinant of A are again a scalar of the field, or you may say the real number, and the product of two real number is again a real number. So the operation here is dot, so we have put dot here. Operation here is also dot, so we put dot here. So this is a group with respect to dot, this is also a group with respect to dot. So it means determinant is a group homomorphism, and this is true for all AB in GLNF. So it means determinant is a group homomorphism. So it is an example of a group homomorphism. Now let us see what is the kernel of this map. The kernel of this map is, kernel of determinant map is those A in G, L and F such that the determinant of A is equal to the identity of this group. And what is the identity of this group? This is a group with respect to multiplication of scalars or multiplications of real numbers. So identity of the group is 1. And you know that this is the set of those matrices whose determinant is 1, and this is known as S, L and F, a special linear group. So the special linear group is actually the kernel of some homomorphism. This is a group homomorphism, this is a group homomorphism, and we have determined the kernel of it, and SL and F is a kernel of this group homomorphism. So we can say that SL and F is a normal subgroup of G, L and F. There are another ways to show it also, but it is quite easy to show that it is a group homomorphism, and we have taken it as a it is easy to show that it is normal subgroup by choosing this as a group homomorphism. Okay.